You wake up. The ceiling is still there. The same bed. The same feeling of emptiness. Something inside you screams, but you keep quiet. Another day begins, and the giant remains asleep. But I'm going to tell you something now, and you'll feel it in your chest. Either you awaken the giant within you, or you'll die with this dream still trapped inside your chest. Life doesn't wait. It doesn't apologize, and it doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards courage, action, clarity. It rewards those who refuse to kneel before doubts. Even when the whole world is screaming for them to give up, genius is not in the chosen. It is in the determined. How many ideas were buried next to bodies that never dared to act? How many dreams were stifled by routine, by fear, by comfort? The truth is that you don't need permission. You never did. You need to decide. Now Thomas Edison burned more than 1,000 filaments before making light pass through glass. Not because he was smarter, but because he was stubborn enough not to die with his dream. Henry Ford was ridiculed when he tried to create a popular car. They said it was absurd. He replied, "If I had asked the people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. What about you? Will you listen to the cowards or to the voice that cries out inside you?" Most people live as if they had a second chance hidden in their pocket. But life is this moment, this now, this second. Do you breathe? Then you have a chance, but it is fading away. Because every day you postpone it, your dream dies a little more. And the giant, the one you feel in your veins, is turning into a specter, a ghost of who you could have been. Mentality is everything. It's not about what you have. It's about what you believe you are capable of building. Abraham Lincoln lost more than 8 elections before becoming the president who rewrote history. Do you know why? Because he understood something that you need to understand now. Failure is not the end. It's a sign, an invitation, a call to become something greater than you are today. You are surrounded by voices, social media, opinions, expectations. But the voice that will change your life is the one you have silenced. The one that silently asks you to stand up and say, enough. No more. No more accepting less. No more surviving. I will live. I will create. I will win. But don't be fooled. None of this comes easily. Purpose requires sacrifice. Vision requires discipline. Millionaires, leaders, visionaries. They all learn to do what is necessary, even when they don't feel like it. Because the difference between those who win and those who give up is what you do on the days when everything tells you to stop. Clarity is power. And you need to decide now, what do you want? Not what would be nice to have. What do you really want? What makes your skin crawl? What makes your heart race? If you don't know what you want, you will work to build someone else's dream. You will live on autopilot. You will become functional, but empty. You see, you are not an accident. You are not the product of chance. You carry within you the spark that built empires, wrote books that changed the world, built cities from nothing. But this spark needs breath, it needs courage, and it needs hunger. Hunger for meaning, for evolution, for greatness. And when you clarify your vision, the entire universe reorganizes itself to test you. Obstacles arise, doubts increase, friends disappear. But none of this is a punishment. It is the path revealing itself. Because what you want will not be given, it will be conquered. And every second of pain, every minute of doubt will be the raw material for your transformation. There is something more powerful than talent. It is called decision. It is called commitment. Walt Disney went bankrupt several times before creating an empire that today moves billions and enchants generations. And he said, if you can dream it, you can do it. But dreaming is not enough. You need to do it. You need to act like someone who already is. Think like someone who has already won. Walk like someone who has already conquered. and work as if your life depended on it. Because it does. Nothing great comes from comfort. And you were not made to hide in security. Fear will not go away. It will walk alongside you. But you need to look at it and say, I'm going anyway. And take the step. And climb another rung. And don't stop until the top becomes your new starting point. The world is hungry for leaders. For people who refuse to live like statistics. Who turn pain into fuel. Who take full responsibility for their own reality. You are not trapped. You are distracted. Looking outside when all you need is inside. The giant inside you doesn't want to be tamed. It doesn't want comfort. It wants expression. It wants impact. It wants to leave a legacy. But to do that, you need to starve it of excuses, doubts, and victimhood. And feed it with conviction, action, and discipline. Discipline is the missing link between dream and achievement. Everyone wants to win, but few want to pay the price. They want fame, but avoid the anonymity of preparation. They want applause, but not the silence of training. They want the summit, but not the pain of climbing. And it's there, in the dark, away from the spotlight, that the giant awakens. You weren't born small. You were trained to think this way. But you can free yourself. You can reverse the code. You can erase the script they wrote for you and write your own. With blood, with sweat, with soul. Because in the end, what remains is not what you accumulated. It's what you became. And the question is, are you ready to become who you were born to be? Because the clock is ticking. And the giant is waiting. Now listen. Greatness is not a fluke, it is a construction. Brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice. It is not a sudden event. It is a series of silent battles won when no one is looking. When everything inside you wants to stop, but you choose to keep going. It is in the moments when you could justify pausing and choose to move forward that true growth happens. Success leaves clues. But the weak ignore, the ordinary hesitate, and the giants follow. They watch, they learn, they model. Tony Robbins was not born ready. He modeled patterns. He studied the greats obsessively. He reprogrammed his mind. And it is available to you too, if you are willing to pay the price of clarity, because clarity is not magic, it is choice. You have to eliminate. You have to say no. You have to cut out everything that does not pull you into your future. People who suck, habits that block, thoughts that sabotage. Clarity is a knife, it cuts deep. But it reveals the gold that is buried in the chaos of your routine. And after that, absolute focus. No more multiple goals. No more 10 directions, one mission, one objective, one vision. Because when you know what you want and why you want it, nothing else matters. Fear is silenced, doubt loses strength, and the world begins to bend to your rhythm, but you need to shield yourself. Because the world will test your faith. They will laugh. They will doubt. They will try to dim your light to feel more comfortable in their own darkness. Don't react. Transcend. Because your journey is not about proving anything to anyone. It is about accomplishing what you came to do. With or without an audience, you have a clock ticking inside you. Every beat of your heart is a countdown. For what? For the version of you that was born ready, but needs to be excavated, unearthed, awakened, and it is there, waiting for you to make the most important decision of your life, to get off autopilot and take the wheel of your own existence. Stand up, scream if you need to, run if you have to. But don't go back to sleep. The giant has woken up. And he wants freedom. And freedom, my friend, costs everything that keeps you small. You need to understand one thing. You were not made to live chained by mediocre habits, by inherited thoughts, by stories that were not even yours. You were shaped to dominate the environment, not to be a slave to it. Every time you repeat, "It's just another day," You kill a universe of possibilities that could have been born from a single bold decision. Adaptation is necessary, but accommodation is poison. And many confuse the two. Adapting is adjusting the sails to move towards your purpose, even with the wind against you. Settling is anchoring the boat and accepting that the storm has won. And no matter how far you have gone down the wrong path, it still takes courage to turn around and start over. You need to have the humility to learn from each fall, but also the courage not to belittle yourself after them. Because the world owes you nothing, but you owe yourself everything. And this debt cannot be paid with excuses. It is paid with transformation, with decisions, with daily execution. If you want to change your life, change your identity. Not just what you do, but who you decide to be. Don't say, I'm going to try to get up early. Say, I'm the type of person who gets up before the sun and goes to war for what I believe in. Don't say, I'll see if I can do it. Say, I'll do it until I get it. And then I'll keep going. Because true wealth doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your mind. In the silence of your convictions. In the kind of thinking you cultivate when no one is watching. The most successful people you know, the ones who seem to have been born with something special, are actually masters of one thing. They protect their mindset like a warrior protects his territory. You feed your mind every day. With news, with social media, with conversations. The question is, what are you serving at the table of your consciousness? Is it poison or is it fuel? Is it distraction or is it power? What goes in shapes what goes out. And if you want to build an empire, you can't feed yourself like a spiritual beggar. And when the mind is strong, the body follows. Action becomes inevitable. Procrastination fades. Because you don't just act with desire, you act with identity. And that identity is forged in the fire of discomfort. In the, I don't want to, but I'm going to anyway. In the, it's hard, but I'm going to finish. It's there, behind the scenes, that giants make their names. It's not about magic. It's about ritual. You want power? Then master your morning. You want clarity? Then conquer your mirror. You want discipline? Then say no when no one else is watching. Because it's easy to appear strong when everyone is applauding. But the true master is the one who trains in silence and bleeds behind the scenes to shine on the stage of his own life. And remember this, every second you hesitate is a second someone less talented, but more determined, is moving forward. Life doesn't reward the most capable. It rewards the most committed. And history doesn't remember those who almost tried. It immortalizes those who did it until they succeeded. You have two voices inside you. One is soft, rational, polite. It says, take it easy, don't take risks. Maybe tomorrow. The other one, the other one screams. It roars. It doesn't ask permission. It says, go, now you were born for this. And you know which one is the giant. The question is, which one are you giving the microphone to? Many people live trying to please others, adjusting their own sound so as not to disturb. But you weren't born to be background noise. You were born to be thunder, to be remembered, to make an impact. And that doesn't happen by trying to fit into a mold. It happens when you break the mold. You don't need more motivation. You need a pattern, a structure, a decision. Because motivation goes away when the pain starts. But a pattern of discipline remains. Do you think that great achievers wake up every day with a will? No. They wake up with purpose. They created a system where, I don't feel like it, no longer has power. That's where repetition comes in. Repetition creates rhythm, and rhythm overcomes resistance. You start small. One habit, one step, one choice. And suddenly, life starts to spin differently. What seemed impossible begins to bend before your consistency. Because reality, in the end, respects those who insist. Most people want freedom. But freedom is not the absence of routine, it is mastery over it. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is having built the inner strength necessary to choose what needs to be done, even when everything inside you tells you otherwise. That is strength. That is maturity. That is self-mastery. You have to become dangerous. Not in the sense of causing harm, but in the sense that you become someone no one can ignore. Who doesn't bend for convenience? Who doesn't sell out for comfort? Who has a fire in your eyes that says, I know who I am, and I know what I came to do? Because true wealth is in who you become in the process. Money, status, recognition, these are consequences. They are reflections of the impact. But what really matters is the transformation. It's looking back and barely recognizing the old version of yourself. It's saying, I died many times, but I was reborn better, stronger, more whole. And when everything seems to fall apart, when the world seems too heavy, remember this. You are not the pain. You are the one who goes through it. You are not the mistake. You are the one who learns from it. And you are not the fear. You are the one who looks it in the eye and says, you are no longer in charge here. You are one thought away from changing everything. One decision away from turning the key. There's a day between repeating the cycle or writing a new chapter. And that choice, that small choice, can echo throughout the rest of your life. There's a strength that is only born in the midst of pressure. It is the kind of strength that is not learned in books, nor inherited from family. It is forged on the days when everything goes wrong. In the moments when you cry in secret, but get up anyway. In the moments when the world turns its back and you decide to be your own crowd. Resilience is not armor. It is a scar that shines. It is the result of having fallen 10 times and having gotten up 11. It is when the ground becomes so familiar that you learn to use it as a springboard. And that, my friend, is what separates the weak from the legendary. You are not fighting just for yourself. You may not see it yet, but there is a generation that will be impacted by your decision to keep going. Children who have not yet been born. People who do not yet know you. Lives that will be touched because you decided not to give up. Because you chose to fight even when it would have been easier to stop. You need to see yourself there. You need to visualize it in detail. Not a vague desire, but a clear vision. How do you dress? How do you walk? Who do you connect with? What have you built? What do you represent? Because your mind only begins to act with conviction when it sees a clear destination. Dreams without images become frustration. Dreams with images become maps. And when you visualize the future so strongly that it begins to seem present, the universe responds. Not with magic, but with opportunity, with signs, with people. But only those who are attentive, disciplined, and open can perceive it. The distracted call it a coincidence. The committed call it an answer. You are not lost. You are being polished. The pain you feel today is the chisel sculpting your greatness. But if you run away from the pain, you run away from the form. If you numb yourself, disconnect, hide, you will never see the finished statue. You will never know the giant in its entirety, and you need to know it. You need to talk to it in the silence of your mind. You need to ask, who am I really when no one is watching me? And if the answer is still weak, that's okay. Rewrite it, redefine it. Because identity is not destiny. It's construction. And you have the tools in your hands now. Enough begging for validation. Enough living with your soul rented. Enough seeking permission to exist at full power. You were not created to follow small rules. You were created to write new ones, to break patterns, to challenge the system with a simple phrase, I am bigger than this, and you are. You always were. You were just sleeping, but now you are waking up. There is something sacred in the moment you decide, enough, It is not a scream to the world. It is a whisper to the soul. It is when you stop begging for change and start embodying it. It is the moment when the old version of you takes its last breath, and the new you breathes for the first time. True awakening is not noisy. It is deep, silent, painful, because it demands that you kill everything that has kept you comfortable, but stagnant. It demands that you say goodbye to well-articulated excuses. It demands that you confront everything you have tolerated until now and declare war on mediocrity. This war is not external. It is internal. It is against the thoughts that diminish you, against the inherited standards that no longer serve you, against the voice inside you that says, "Who do you think you are?" And you respond not with words, but with action. I am who I choose to be. Clarity comes when you refuse to keep going in circles, when you stop looking for shortcuts and face the real path. And it is never paved. It is dark, full of rocks, full of silence. But it is real. And what is real transforms. You will have to walk alone sometimes. You will have to say no when everyone else says yes. You will have to choose between being accepted or being true. And often, being true means being misunderstood. But between being loved for a mask and respected for your truth, choose the truth, because there is no greater freedom than knowing that you are true to your purpose, that you are not living someone else's script, that you are paying the price for your vision with discipline, with integrity, with sweat, that you did not inherit. Your values, you built them, and when it all seems too much, when the pressure is unbearable, remember, gold is refined in fire. Diamonds are only born from pressure. And you, like them, carry a value that will only be revealed if you endure the process. Don't run from pain. Run with it. Make it your ally. Because pain will either transform you or destroy you. It depends on how you receive it. Those who run from pain remain weak. Those who face pain learn to dance with it. And a man or woman who has learned to dance with pain is unstoppable. You need to become someone who does not depend on motivation, but who lives with direction. Who does not need others to believe first, because they have already decided to believe on their own. Who doesn't wait for miracles, because they understand that the miracle is in every daily choice, in every sacrifice, in every small step that builds an invisible legacy. Until the day it becomes undeniable, you won't get there by trying to be perfect. You'll get there by being true, making mistakes, correcting, falling, learning, but always moving. Always with your eyes on the horizon and your feet firmly in the present, because the future you want is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of construction, and construction requires presence. Many fail because they live in two places that don't exist, the past and the future. They get stuck in what was, regretting, guilty, or hypnotized by a future that never comes, always waiting for the right moment. But the brutal truth is this: the only real time is now. And what you do now decides who you will be when the future finally arrives. Don't wait to be ready. You won't be, no one is. The great ones take the plunge even when they're afraid, even when they don't have all the answers, even when they don't have guarantees. They understand that clarity comes from action, not waiting. That movement is the best medicine for doubt. That moving forward, even without knowing everything, is better than being paralyzed by fear of making mistakes. Do you want extraordinary results? Then stop thinking like someone ordinary. Align your thoughts with the life you want to create, not the life you want to escape. Because if your mind is always reacting, you will never be creating. And those who don't create, repeat. Cycles, patterns, stories. Always the same. Be brutally honest with yourself. What is sabotaging your ascension? Is it procrastination disguised as perfectionism? Is it fear disguised as logic? Is it the comfort you call stability? Look it in the face, name it, expose it. Because everything you don't face dominates you. And know this, your environment is shaping you more than you realize. The voices you hear, the energies you allow, the words you accept as truth. If the environment weakens you, change it. If it makes you feel numb, run away. If it diminishes you, rebuild. Because a giant that lives in a cage forgets that it has wings. Need to seek silence. The kind of silence where you truly hear yourself. Where you reconnect with something bigger than yourself. Call it God, call it purpose, call it mission, but connect. Because the noise of the world wants to distract you, confuse you, make you just another one. But you were not made to get lost in the noise. You were made to be the voice. Life will not give you permission, it will test you. It will pressure you until you prove that you are ready. And you do not prove it with words. You prove it with posture, with persistence, with presence, with the firm decision to be unbreakable, even when everything around you tries to break you. You will be tested, not once, but repeatedly. And not by your weaknesses, but by your deepest desires. Life will put before you tempting shortcuts, seductive distractions, easy paths that promise reward without sacrifice. And that's where many fall. Not because they're weak, but because they forget what they really want. You need to remember. Every day, the why, the cause, the vision, the greater reason. Because when temptation hits, when tiredness hits, when it seems like no one else cares, it's the clarity of your why that will keep you going. And let it be clear, there's no greatness without sacrifice. You're going to have to say no to immediate pleasure. You're going to have to distance yourself from people you love, but who don't share the same hunger. You're going to have to cut out habits, routines, and even versions of yourself that no longer fit into the future you're building. It hurts. But this pain is sacred, because it separates those who are interested from those who are committed. Those who talk nicely from those who live what they say. Those who desire with their mouths from those who fight until they bleed. Do you want to know why most people fail? Because they wait until they feel like they need to act. Because they think they need motivation every day. But those who succeed don't live by impulse, they live by default. They create an internal structure that doesn't depend on emotion to keep going. That moves in the cold, in boredom, in pain, because the purpose is greater than the moment. And when you understand this, you become free, because nothing controls you anymore. Not fear, not laziness, not the opinions of others. You look in the mirror and see someone trustworthy, someone who doesn't need an audience to give their all, who has integrity when no one is watching, who is loyal to their own vision, even when the whole world mocks it. This is the strength that builds empires. It doesn't start with big actions. It starts with small acts of courage, repeated every day. It starts when you get up without hitting the snooze button. When you work out even though you don't feel like it. When you say no to things that don't elevate you. When you read while others watch. When you work while others complain. And then, one day, almost without realizing it, you wake up different. Your mind is clearer. Your body firmer. Your soul more alive. And you understand that the giant did not arrive suddenly. He was awakened, choice by choice, renunciation by renunciation, until he no longer fit into the small life you led. Awakening the giant is not an event. It is a process that requires you to die every day to what you are not, to abandon masks, inherited beliefs, and fears that do not belong to you, to break with the identity that was shaped to please, survive, fit in. Because true power only arises when you stop pretending. You were not born to survive. You were born to transform, to set fire, to leave footprints so deep that even centuries later, someone will still feel the vibration of your courage. But none of this will be possible if you continue living small, thinking small, wanting big and acting as if it were optional. Your greatness is on the other side of what you avoid. It's in that difficult conversation you put off, in the decision you know you need to make, in the habit that needs to be broken, in the routine that needs to be reprogrammed, in the internal confrontation that you try to silence with distractions, and the world will try to tame you. It will try to reduce your fire to ashes. It will offer you comfort as a bargaining chip for your essence. But every giant has a moment when he looks around and says, "No, this is not enough for me." And that no becomes the seed of a completely new life. You start to move differently, to think differently, to act with a kind of conviction that doesn't need to be explained, it's felt. The people around you notice. Some move away, others come closer. But the most important thing is that you stop asking for approval. Because you understand that you are here to fulfill a calling, not to win applause. This calling will not shout, it will whisper. It will appear in the silent hours, in the restless dawns, in those moments when everything seems to be falling apart and yet something inside you insists, keep going. And if you honor that voice, if you heed that call, life begins to align in an almost supernatural way. Opportunities arise. Strengths you didn't know you had reveal themselves. The right people show up. But not because you waited, but because you became magnetic. Because you stopped chasing and started attracting. And here's the truth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So before you reach for more, become more focused, stronger, more disciplined, more whole. And the world will have no choice but to bow before who you have become. What you don't realize is that the giant inside you is waiting to be released. It's trapped in the excuses you tell yourself. It's suffocated in the comfort zones you insist on maintaining. But it's not dead. It's just waiting for you to decide you're ready to unleash your true power. And when that happens, nothing will be able to stop you. Imagine for a moment the life you want. Not a life full of empty promises, but a life you can touch with your hands, where your actions, your energy, your vision are aligned in perfect symmetry, where hard work meets genuine pleasure, where your contribution to the world is not just a possibility, it is a certainty. This is not a dream. This is the result of a decision made today, right now. But for that to happen, you need to have the courage to let go of everything you think you know. All the limiting ideas that have been passed on to you. All those stories that have been told to you about who you are. Because, my friend, you are not what others said you would be. You are what you choose to be, and nothing more. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter where you started. What matters is where you are willing to go. Yes, you will encounter difficulties. Yes, there will be obstacles. But the big secret is that these difficulties are not enemies. They are the teachers you need to reach the next stage. Every mistake, every failure, every defeat is just a step on the ladder of success. They are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are indications that you are on the right path, because it is only when you are challenged, only when the pressure increases, that you truly discover what you are made of. The real test is not what happens when everything is going well. The real test is what you do when everything starts to fall apart. And that's exactly when the giant inside you wakes up and stands up. Now, the question is, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to leave behind the insecurities, the doubts, the fear of being rejected? Because life will ask it of you. It will challenge you to be greater than you think you can be. And it's when you refuse to give up, even when all seems lost, that you discover your true strength. The power of the giant is not in his ability to never fail, but in his ability to get up, always, no matter how many times he falls, no matter how many doors close. The giant is not defined by his victories. He is defined by his persistence. And then, the day you look back, you will see that the path you took, all the tears, all the sacrifices, every uncertain step was worth it. Because you didn't just become someone who achieved success. You became someone who had the courage to become who you were always destined to be. You will look at the world and, instead of feeling small, you will feel that you have a unique and indispensable space to occupy. That your story, your struggle, your greatness have something to offer the world that no one else can. And it is this contribution that will leave an everlasting mark, not just on the world, but on those who follow your example. So if you feel the fire growing inside you right now, if you feel the energy of transformation beginning to spread, don't hesitate. Set yourself free. Awaken the giant within you, and with every step you take, let the world know that you didn't come here to be just another one. You came here to be unforgettable. Now look at what you have become. Look at the person who is growing inside you, who is finally becoming who you always knew you were meant to be. And see how unstoppable she is. Not because she is fearless, not because she is not faced with hardships, but because she knows that everything she has been through, everything she has faced, everything that was necessary to get here was just preparation for the moment we are living now. The truth is that you have always had this power within you. From the moment you were born, this force was planted within your soul. And no matter how much you have doubted, how far you have strayed from your own greatness, it has always been there, waiting for the moment when you would finally wake up to your own truth. Now is the time. There are no more excuses. There are no more maybe tomorrows. The time is now. The giant within you will not wait any longer. It will not beg for your attention. It will manifest itself in such a powerful way that you will have no choice but to see it, embrace it, and then release your full potential to the world. But remember, the giant does not appear in comfort. It does not appear in easy days, in quiet mornings, in unchallenging routines. The giant reveals itself when you decide that you will not settle for mediocrity. He stands up when you look at the pain, the failure, the fear, and says, I will go further. I will go higher. I will go stronger. The real secret lies in one choice. The choice to be great. The choice to be the leader of your own life. The choice to never turn back. Because, my friend, you are not a spectator in this life, you are the creator. What you do now, what you decide now, defines the rest of your journey. You have within you everything you need to achieve the life you want. The power is in your hands, and the time for waiting is over. The time for doubting is over. The time for being small is over. Now is the time to be a giant. So stand up, go to your limit. Go where you've never gone before. And don't look back. The world is waiting to see what you can do. Your giant was not made to live in the shadows. He was made to shine. You came here not to hide. You came to illuminate, to inspire, to leave an indelible mark on this world. And I tell you now without hesitation, it is your moment. There are no more excuses. There are no more excuses for delay. Stand up and awaken the giant within you. And when you do, the world will never be the same again. Now you have a choice. You can continue living in the same comfort zone, waiting for a change that never comes. Or you can take action. You can take control now and take the next step towards greatness. Because what you heard here is not just empty motivation. This is a calling. And if you are here until now, it is because something inside you responds. You know you are ready for something greater. So now is the time to show the world who you really are. If you felt touched by these words, if the flame inside you was lit, I invite you to be part of an even greater journey. Subscribe to this channel. Take the next step. Turn on notifications, because the content we create here is not just to change your day, it is to transform your life. Every video you watch here is fuel for your ascension. Every message is a powerful weapon that you can use to destroy limitations and live with more focus, more determination, more power. Don't let this be just another video you watched and forgot. Let this be the moment that changes the course of your life. Click subscribe now. Don't wait any longer. And in the meantime, explore the other videos that are already waiting for you. Because transformation doesn't happen in a single video. It happens in daily commitment, in continuous action, in constant learning. If you're here because you want more, because you want to be more, this is the space where you should be. And remember, the difference between where you are and where you want to be begins with the first step. Take that step now. Subscribe, comment, share. Don't stay silent. The journey begins now, and you are not alone. We are in this together. Now, stand up. The giant inside you awaits your decision.